Hi guys. Today for lesson 6, using equations to solve problems involving age, make sure you copy down the examples in your lesson note and then do the homework. So for warm up, question 1. David has 6 times as much money as Fred. That's probably important. 6 times as much money as Fred. And Bill has 3 times as much money as Fred. And together they have 550. Determine how much each one has. So like before, my X is always going to be the smaller, younger, or shorter. So in this one, it's going to be the person who has the least amount of money. So David has more than Fred, and Bill has more than Fred. So Fred is the smallest. So let X be how much money Fred has. And then David is going to be 6x, and Bill is going to be 3x. And all together they have 550. So that's going to be x plus 6x plus 3x equals 550. And then we'll solve it. So 10x equals 550, divided by 10, x equals 55. So if we take this and go back to up here, that means Fred has $55. David has 6 times 55, which is $330. Don't forget the units, so that's the dollar sign here. And then Bill would have 3 times 55, which is $165. So Fred 55, David 330, and Bill 165. That's the first one. Sorry, warm up question number 2. At a carnival shooting gallery, if you get 5 points for hitting a destroyer, 3 points for hitting a sub. That's obviously important. 5 points for a destroyer, 3 points for hitting a sub. Peter scored 36 points with 10 hits. Determine the number of submarines he hit. So this part here at the end, that's going to tell us what our X is. So let X be number of sub hits. So if X is the number of sub hits, we also have destroyer hits. And we know that altogether there were 10 hits. So 10 minus X is going to be the number of the destroyer hits. So we have X sub hits, 10 minus X destroyer hits. Then we're going to do something with all those points. So this is kind of like a money question where we have a certain value for each thing. So we know that we're going to have, for a destroyer is 5 points. So 5 points times the number of destroyers plus 3 points times the number of subs all together was a grand total of 36 points. So basically there I did the number times how many points they got per, added it all together. So we're going to distribute, get 50 minus 5x plus 3x is 36. So I get minus 2x equals 36 minus 50. So minus 14. Divide both sides by minus 2. We get x equals 7. So there would be 7 submarine hits and 3 destroyer hits. And if we just go back and double check that, each destroyer got 5 points. So that would have been 15. And each sub would have got 3 points, 21. And when we add that, we get 36. So it works. So therefore, 7 subs hit and 3 destroyers hit. Okay, that's it for the warm-up. Now in age problems, like it says, the best way to solve is by using a chart. So we're going to go to this example here. Chris is 8 years older than Meg. In 3 years, he will be twice as old as she is. And then they're asking us, how old are they right now? Step 1, X is always going to be the younger person. And I'm just going to go ahead and fill in just the one chart here up at the top. So Meg is going to be X. The yellow highlighting it says Chris is 8 years older than Meg. So right now, that means that Chris is X plus 8. And then it asks us in the table, we're going to say, how old are they 3 years from now? So 3 years from now, Chris is going to be X plus 8 plus 3, because it's 3 years from now. So that's going to be X plus 11. And Meg is just going to be X plus 3. Because if Meg was like 10 now, she'd be 13 in 3 years. And then we're going to use that along with what was circled up here. He will be twice as old as she is. And that's where we're going to get the equation. So if we look down, we got the same stuff as Miss Fioroni, which is great. And then we're going to use this part here along with this to set up our equation. So in 3 years, we're going to use those ages. We know that in 3 years that Chris is going to equal 2 times Meg. And if we write that using the stuff from our equation, Chris is X plus 11. So X plus 11 equals 2 times X plus 3 because Meg was X plus 3. We'll have to distribute. So X plus 11 equals 2X plus 6 because I distributed. I'm going to move X over here. So 2X minus X. I'm going to bring the plus 6 to the other side. So it's minus 6. So X equals 5. So when we solve this, we get that Meg is 5 years old. X was Meg. If we go back to what the question was asking, let's double check. The question said, how old are they now? So we need both of them. Therefore, now Meg is 5 years old and Chris is 5 plus 8 or 13 years old. Because Chris right now is 8 years older than Meg. So 5 and 13. Question 3. Okay, I guess. Question 3. Pete is twice as old as Mary. 7 years ago, the sum of their ages was 31. Find Pete's age now. I'm going to set up a chart again. I'm going to have now, and then it's going to have some other time. And in this question, it said 7 years ago. So my next category is going to be 7 years ago. And it's in the past, so that means we're going to be minusing 7 from something. And then let's look who we have. We have Pete. We have Mary. And it says Pete is twice as old as Mary. So that means Mary's younger. I'm going to make Mary X. Pete's going to be 2X. 7 years ago, you just take Pete's age now and subtract 7. Mary's age now and subtract 7. Then the question says 7 years ago, the sum of their ages was 31. That means this, Pete's age plus Mary's age back a long time ago, and that was a 7. When we add those together, we're going to get 31, and that's going to be the equation. So 2x minus 7 plus x minus 7 equals 31. 3x minus 14 equals 31. 3x equals 31 plus 14. That's going to be 45. Divide both sides by 3, and we get x equals 15. So that's Mary's age right now. Right now, Mary is 14. But let's make sure we answer what was asked. So if I go back, it says find Pete's age now. And it says Pete is twice as old as Mary. Pete equals 2 times 15 equals 30. So therefore, Pete is 30 years old. 7 years ago. And you can always double check. So 7 years ago, Pete would have been 23 and Mary would have been 8. And 23 plus 8 does equal 21. So you could do a check. 23 plus 8 equals 31. And the 23 came from 30 minus 7, and the 8 came from a 15 minus 7. So there's usually a way to check and make sure you got your answer right. Fourth question. Lisa is now 30 years older than her son. In 5 years, she will be 4 times his age. How old is Lisa's son now? So we're going to do the same table now, and our other time is going to be in 5 years. In 5 years. So that's going to be a plus 5 that we're doing. And we got Lisa, we got our son. The son's obviously younger. And it says Lisa is 30 years older than her son. And that's going to be x plus 30. So in 5 years, it's going to be x plus 30 plus 5, which is x plus 35. And the son will just be x plus 5. In 5 years, she will be 4 times his age. And that's the important part, that she will be 4 times his age. So we know that Lisa equals 4 times the son. So we could write that as x plus 35 equals 4 times x plus 5. And if I distribute, then I'm going to get x plus 35 equals 4x plus 20. I'm going to shift stuff around, so adding turns to subtracting when we change sides. So I get 35 minus 20, so 15 equals 4x minus x. That's going to give 3x. Divide both sides by 3. I'm going to get x is 5. And we go check, what did the question ask? It said, how old is Lisa's son now? Lisa's son right now is x. That's what we solve for. So, therefore, Lisa's son is now 5 years old. So we used tables, kind of help set things up. There are other ways to do it as long as you show your work. And you can always go back and check and make sure that everything works out. So in this one, if her son is 5, that means Lisa's 35. In 5 years, the boy will be 10, Lisa will be 40, and 40 is 4 times his age. So it all works out.